If asked to name at least 3 nerdy rappers, most rap fans might come up with the names of bona fide stars, including Logic, Childish Gambino, and Lil Dicky, with some honorable mentions for Lupe Fiasco and Tyler the Creator thrown in there. But these nerdy hip-hop artists, to be the stars they are today, rappers of generations past, had to slowly but surely introduce the idea that rappers could be more than gangsters or sociopolitical commentators. Simply put, nerdiness in rap music has been around for about as long as the genre itself, and today's rappers have taken it to a place where being a nerd is no longer an obstacle to an aspiring rapper. Generally speaking, a nerd is defined as an obnoxious expert in a topic, with video games, comics, and cartoons as common examples, that lack social skills due to this expertise. Nerd culture within hip-hop was introduced and kept alive by legends many hip-hop fans would never consider to be nerd rappers at face value. Even before nerdcore rap existed and nerd rapper godfather Kanye West burst into the scene, New York rappers with rugged, hard-hitting sounds and personas lit the first matches. In 2012, Topless Robot compiled a list of 9 rappers spanning roughly 40 years of rap history that displayed surprising levels of nerdiness throughout their discographies. Among them include Ghostface Killah, one of the best members of the Wu-Tang Clan, who had a famous affinity for the Marvel superhero Iron Man, going so far as to name his solo debut album Iron Man, and often referring to himself as Tony Starks. The S is intentional, by the way, in songs throughout his career. Going even further back, the list includes Grandmaster Flash, whose namesake is an ode to DC's famously fast superhero. Flash and the Furious 5 released a song in 1979 titled Super Rapping, in reference to themselves as rap superheroes. And Kool Keith, vaguely known by younger fans today as an old school boom bap rapper, was actually one of the strangest and nerdiest rappers of all time. After years of working with the ultra-magnetic MCs, his debut solo album in 1995 was titled Dr. Octagon Ecologist, a sci-fi concept album that included time travel and a surgeon from Jupiter. While early rappers had some notable nerd culture influence, rappers basing much of their personas on nerdiness did not start to thrive in hip-hop until Kanye West. In breaking down the expectation of rappers as hyper-masculine gangsters, Ye didn't just make it cool to be emotional in hip-hop, he made it cool to not be very cool at all. Without the boisterous, backpack-lugging, pink polo-wearing brilliance of Kanye West, we wouldn't have fashion nerds like A$AP Rocky and Playboi Carti, crooners like Kid Cudi and Drake, or singular multimedia forces like today's hottest nerd rappers, Logic, Childish Gambino, and Lil Dicky. While Logic didn't display his nerdiness in the classroom, doing poorly enough to be kicked out of school by the 10th grade, he found other outlets early on that became the basis of his career. He got into hip-hop as a result of watching the Kill Bill Volume 1 and learning the soundtrack was produced by RZA of the Wu-Tang Clan. After pawning over music by the Clan and the Roots, Logic came up with his initial stage name, Psychological. Though he has since shortened his name, it still represents his artistic intent to, in his words, really challenge the mind. 7 mixtapes, 5 albums, a soundtrack, and a novel later, and Logic has lived up to his cerebral stage name every step of the way. From tracks titled Super Mario World and Black Spider-Man, to suffering a panic attack waiting in line to see Star Wars The Force Awakens, Logic has proven that a B-list rapper can find a career-long inspiration outside of drugs, street life, and other common rap tropes. While Logic was beginning to climb the rap game ladder with a XXL freshman list appearance in 2013, Donald Glover was ready to make a statement through his musical persona Childish Gambino. While many would argue Awaken My Love is Gambino's most realized musical work because the internet is considered his breakthrough musical moment. Not only was Because the Internet nominated for a Best Rap Album Grammy in 2014, but the project showcased just about every nerdy quality and skill that Donald had. The internet child, outside in perspective on pop culture he showed in his stand-up comedy special Weirdo, found a home in one of the album's best songs, World Star, and the album's outro, Life, the Biggest Troll. His acting ability was put to use as he embodied the album's main character, the boy, even during radio interviews like this one with Sway in the Morning. Notice how he even wears the same outfit in his Breakfast Club interview several days later. Perhaps most impressively, Glover used his screenwriting to take the boy even further as he wrote an entire screenplay based on Because the Internet, culminating in the short film Clapping for the Wrong Reasons. Since Because the Internet, we've seen Donald Glover's career reach surprising heights, including the #1 single This Is America, 4 Emmys for the hit TV series Atlanta, and film projects including Solo, A Star Wars Story, Guava Island with Rihanna, and the new live-action version of Lion King. Throughout all of this, whether as Donald or Childish Gambino, his nerdy sense of style, humor, and writing has given his work the hints of unique weirdness that make him so refreshing and successful. While Logic and Gambino have exploded into massive stars and can carry the nerd rapper torch all on their own, one artist in particular has really taken the title and ran with it. With conceptual songs such as Earth and Freaky Friday, an alter ego representing his brain, and a project sarcastically titled Professional Rapper, it's safe to say Lil Dicky is as close to the actual nerdcore rap as it gets in mainstream hip-hop. The impressive thing about Lil Dicky's rap career is that he's managed to build such a strong brand with just 3 released projects in 6 years of rapping. What makes Lil Dicky's very white suburban take on hip-hop special is how far he's willing to take his concepts, which often makes for very charming and memorable singles. His 2015 single Save That Money with Fetty Wap and Rich Homie Quan, a comedic anthem encouraging people not to blow money, unlike most rappers, was a breakout moment. It served as his first Billboard chart appearance and was a perfect introduction of his musical approach to the masses. Off the success of Save That Money, Dicky's debut album Professional Rapper, in all of its nerdiness, debuted at number 7 on the Billboard 200 chart. He has since gone to release one huge conceptual single a year, starting in 2017 with the cult classic Pillow Talking, an 11-minute song detailing the awkward thoughts and feelings of having to talk to someone you don't really know after hooking up. Off the success of Pillow Talk, which heavily featured his alter ego Brain, he released an EP titled I'm Brain that same year to scathing reviews, including Anthony Fantano handing it a simply not good rating, along with calling Dicky Rap Seth Rogen. Despite his unpopularity with critics, Dicky's 2 huge singles gave him a lane no one could stop him from taking. He followed Pillow Talking up with a goofy but more radio-friendly single Freaky Friday in 2018, with a huge assist from Chris Brown. The song, which details Lil Dicky and Chris Brown swapping bodies for a day, is Dicky's only top 10 single to date after peaking at number 8 on the Hot 100 and is currently 3 times platinum. And while his 2019 single Earth did not hit the same commercial heights of Freaky Friday, an ambitious, cameo-filled video about saving the environment helped the single achieve a top 20 peak on the Hot 100. With the success of artists like Logic, Childish Gambino, and Lil Dicky, rappers today can be sober, suburban, fashion backward, and just straight up weird as long as they have bars and their music celebrates their nerdiness in an authentic way. More broadly speaking, the success of nerd rappers will continue to help hip-hop open its doors to artists who defy the street alpha male image in other ways, including clever women rappers like No Name and Tierra Whack, gay rappers like Kevin Abstract, and male rappers with more effeminate personas like Lil Uzi Vert and Young Thug. This has been a HipHopMadness original. Make sure to stay tuned and stay up to date with everything we got going on by hitting that subscribe button and notification bell. Oh, and don't forget to follow us on Instagram at HipHopMadness and join the movement.